Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, text 37. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Vrishnam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavi Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Hare Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. How many devotees amongst you took part in the book distribution marathon today? Raise your hands. Oh, only 7, 8. What were the other devotees doing? Huh? Well, all devotees should try to take part in this marathon and help as much as they can. Of course, those of you who have jobs and all, it's another thing. But if devotees have come from other cities and they have time, then why not use it for book distribution? Rishinam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavi. So this chapter is called The Opulence of the Absolute. And in this chapter, Krishna is describing that whatever is best, that is his manifestation. So as Prabhupada explains in the purport, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a reason why we accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. It is not somebody's concoction or speculation or just some fancy. The reason is the Vedic scriptures clearly establish this point. And Krishna, he appears himself from time to time in different incarnations, and he also expands, like Balaram is the expansion of the Supreme Lord. The expansions of the Lord, as explained in the purport, fall in 2 categories. One is called Swamsa. Swamsa expansion means the personal expansion of the Lord. The other is Vibhinamsha. Vibhinamsha means the separated expansion of the Lord. Just like Krishna himself expands as Balaram. So that is Swamsa incarnation. So Krishna appears in different forms, always with one purpose. The purpose is to establish the principles of religion. Even when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago and spoke the Bhagavad Gita, the purpose was to establish the principles of religion. And then Krishna also incarnated as Vyasadeva. And Krishna incarnated as Vyasadeva and compiled the vast Vedic literature for us. Veda Shastra ke Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. The entire Vedic scriptures tell us how one's Sambandha means relationship, with God can be established. So we have a variety of different sambandhas in the material world. Sambandha means relationship. You have relationship with your father, mother, wife, children, friends, but nobody is worried about the sambandha with God. The sambandha with God can be established when you follow the laws of God. If you don't follow the laws of God, then the sambandha cannot be established. So further it is stated in the Caitanya Charitamrita, Avideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana Purushata Shiromani Prema Mahadhana. That bhakti or devotion to God is the real wealth which one can possess through the human form of life. In material society, the accumulation of money and property is considered real wealth. But to the spiritualist, real wealth is knowledge of God. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam. This knowledge is the king of education. So this is real wealth. Just like in that story of Sanatana Goswami and the touchstone, you have seen how Sanatana Goswami had kept that touchstone that had the capacity to turn everything into gold under a heap of garbage. So all the Vedic scriptures tell us how we can establish our relationship with God. Today, one devotee was telling me that in your Russian television, the Christians are advertising very heavily. And they are saying, you can keep doing what you want, just accept Christ. We accept Christ as the Son of God, but if you don't follow the teachings of Christ, then just surrendering to Christ will not save you. So the Vedic scriptures tell us how we must surrender to God. Because unless you follow the teachings of God, you cannot develop love of God. So Caitanya Mahāprabhu, when he was talking to Sanatana Goswami, he gave very important instructions how to develop love of God. He gave 5 essential points, and these 5 points are known as 5 limbs of devotional service. And these 5 limbs of devotional service can be practiced wherever you may be living in. The first limb of devotional service is chant Hare Kṛṣṇa always. Why do we chant the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra? In the Vedic scriptures you have reference to thousands of mantras. We chant the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra because this has been described as the Maha mantra or the supreme chant for deliverance in the age of Kali. Therefore, by chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra, we cleanse the dirt from the heart. And as you cleanse the dirt from the heart, spiritual life becomes sweeter and sweeter. It is just like sugar. Sugar, as it is being refined, it becomes sweeter and sweeter as the dirt is separated from the sugar. So we recommend to everyone, please chant Hare Kṛṣṇa. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting, but chant, get attached to the chanting. Of course, there are different phases, stages of chanting the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra. But in the initial stage, get attached to the chanting. Then Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, read the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam has been described as the topmost of all Vedic literature. If you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will get knowledge about pure love of God. These days when you talk about pure love of God, nobody understands it. Pure love of God means wanting to serve God without expecting anything in return at all. So then in the Srimad Bhagavatam we find so many stories, and all these stories are giving you one message, how to develop love of God. Actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam is like a storybook that has so many stories of great sages whose conclusion is, don't waste your valuable time in sense enjoyment. So then Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, stay in the association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaya. All scriptures say, take advantage of spiritual association. So wherever you may be a part-time, you may be a full-time housewife, or a businessman, or a teacher, or a student, or you may be a devotee. Take advantage of spiritual association. So wherever you are, mold your life in such a way that you can regularly take advantage of devotee association. And what's the definition of a devotee? One who inspires you to remember God. Therefore, a great Vaishnava saint, Thakur Bhakti Vinod, has said, Ami bina bandhu nahe ke ache tumara. Except for me, O conditioned soul, you have no other friend. Because the devotee of the Lord is only concerned about giving everyone knowledge about God. So we should regularly try and take advantage of devotee association. And even when you can't come to the temple, you should associate with those who are also believing in the same goal of life. Then Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, 4th point is, worship the deity of the Lord. So this is important. The Lord incarnates in his Archa Vigraha form. Archa Vigraha form means that form of the Lord, the Murti, the deity form of the Lord. So the Lord incarnates in the deity form, and this deity is non-different from Krishna. Just like over here we have the deities of Gaur Nitai, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And in many of our temples we have the deities of Radha and Krishna. But we first worship Gaur Nitai because Gaur Nitai are very, very merciful, and even if you make some mistakes, you get excused for it. So some of you may think, oh, this is only a statue, and I think that statue is made of brass. So how can God be present in that statue? No doubt the deities are made out of brass. But you must understand all the ingredients, metal, marble, wood, it's all coming from Krishna. So You must understand that God also has senses. And the Lord reciprocates with His devotees. So we must worship the deity of the Lord. Those of you who chant 16 rounds, who are strict vegetarians, they can even have deities at home. And you can worship the deity at home also. Then the fifth limb of devotional service is to always reside in Mathura Vrindavan. So this would mean that all of you have to give up Moscow and move to Vrindavan and Mathura. And if all of you were to move to Vrindavan and Mathura, the prices would shoot up so much that there would not be enough land for everyone also, because Vrindavan is a very small village. And then there would be nobody left to preach in Moscow and other parts of the world. So what it means, residing in Mathura Vrindavan, is reside in a place where the atmosphere is that of Vrindavan and Mathura. And what is the significance of Mathura and Vrindavan? Who knows? Huh? So the significance of Mathura and Vrindavan is everybody there is absorbed in remembering Krishna. So wherever you are, if you're remembering Krishna, it is Vrindavan. So if you're residing in Moscow or Gorky or any other city and you're remembering Krishna, then you're in Vrindavan. So convert your house to Mathura or Vrindavan atmosphere. So these are known as the 5 limbs of devotional service. In addition, Caitanya Mahāprabhu gave 6 other points. You want to hear them? Will you follow them? Only if you promise you'll follow them, I will tell them. So first you have to promise, then I will tell you. Okay. So then Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, one should accept everything favorable for spiritual advancement and reject everything unfavorable. So I'm sure all of you have heard this point many times. What is the practical meaning of this? It means that if you find by the execution of a particular activity, you will not have time to chant Hare Kṛṣṇa, you will not have time to read, you will not have time to associate with devotees, then give up that activity. And accept everything favorable for spiritual advancement. And if you find that by doing a particular activity, you will have more time, facility for spiritual advancement, then accept it. Then next point is that you must understand that Krishna is the maintainer of everybody. So Krishna is the maintainer of everyone. That knowledge, that the Lord is the maintainer, is known as Shraddha, faith. So Shraddha means faith in God. And our faith in God increases as we chant the holy names of Krishna. Why is it that people have no faith in God? They may go to the church, the temple, the mosque, still they have no faith in God. If they have faith in God, why are they not surrendering to God's instructions? So their faith in God is just a verbal expression and not a practical demonstration. So in reality, people have no faith in God. That is because they don't follow, they don't chant, they don't follow the instructions of the Lord. Therefore, the faith doesn't develop. So the devotee knows that Krishna is a maintainer. And he doesn't go to demigods or anybody else. He only goes to Krishna. You know that story of Gajendra and the crocodile? So the crocodile, I don't have time to tell you the whole story, but I'll tell you a summary of the story. So the crocodile had the leg of the elephant in his mouth. Gajendra in his previous life had been a devotee, but he fell in bad association and he had to take his birth as an elephant. So for 1,000 years, Gajendra tried to pull his leg out of the crocodile's mouth. He did not succeed. All the demigods were watching the match, thinking that he would turn to the demigods for help. But Gajendra went directly to the Supreme Lord. He knew that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So the devotee knows that Krishna is the maintainer and the source of everything that the demigods also give. So the next principle of surrender is, surrendering to Krishna is known in Sanskrit as Sharanagati. The next principle is to accept that one's interest should be the same as Krishna's interest. That is, Krishna's desire should be my desire. But what everybody else is thinking is, my desire should be Krishna's desire. So whatever I want, God must give. I want ticket to America, I want a big car, I want a lot of money, I want a lot of girlfriends, God must give. And if God doesn't give, then there's no God. So devotee doesn't want God to give his desires. But devotee wants to find out what is Krishna's desire. And he understands Krishna's desires through the Guru. The Guru tells you what is Krishna's desire. And then the devotee wants to do what is Krishna's desire. Just like on the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna did not want to engage in the battle. So many reasons Arjuna was giving why he should not engage in the battle. But Krishna said, no, fight for my pleasure. And then he fought the battle. So that is understanding Krishna's interest. So similarly, there's so many things that you and I may not like to do. But when you understand that this is the desire of Krishna as being reflected through the parampara and you do it, then you're taking steps towards spiritual advancement. And what is Krishna's desire? This is reflected in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Sarva dharma paritaja mam ekam shanam raja am tvam sarva papabhaya mokshami masuchaha. Give up all varieties of religiousness and just surrender to me and I will protect you. So Krishna's desire is you give up your maya. You give up sense enjoyment. You give up your sinful activity and you accept his instruction as the final word. And if you do what is Krishna's desire, then you will always be peaceful. And when you try to challenge Krishna's desire, you'll always be confused and unhappy. As long as Arjuna was trying to challenge Krishna's desire that he should fight, he was confused and unhappy. But when Arjuna accepted Krishna's instruction, then he became peaceful and happy. So you may have so many plans what you should do with your life, but get your plans verified by the saintly people, whether it is a real plan or a bogus plan. And if your plan is not going to help you to go back to Godhead, then slash it. You have made so many plans for millions of lives and they have failed in every life. So why do you want to waste another life? And the last instruction of Sharanagati is humility. Practice humility. Real humility, not false humility. Real humility means from within the heart you think you're fool number one. False humility means from the outside you say yes, da, but you do what you want to do. I know some devotees, they'll always approach everyone like this and say, Prabhuji, what can I do for you? But they'll all end up doing what they want to do and they don't care for anyone. So Caitanya Mahāprabhu has listed humility as a principal weapon for spiritual advancement. And Caitanya Mahāprabhu has said, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi saishnu namani namanadena kirtanadi sadahari. One can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble frame of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige. What is false prestige? I am numero un. I'm numero adin. I'm the best. I know everything. Everybody should fall at my feet, and I will fall at nobody's feet. Everybody must come and flatter me. And if they don't flatter me, he is my enemy. Everybody must say, you are really smart. Watch Ochan Kharasho Chalavak. And if somebody doesn't say Ochan Kharasho Chalavak, then he is my enemy. So that is false prestige. So false prestige must be destroyed. And how do you destroy false prestige? By understanding your fool number one. So these were the 8 principles of surrender. These were 6 principles of surrender, along with the 5 limbs of devotional service that I have briefly explained to all of you today. So take advantage of these instructions of Caitanya Mahāprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, and you will always be successful in your life. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So I'll take on questions for Tolka 5 minutes. Yes, doesn't matter how you distribute books, distribute books. You mentioned real prestige means to recognize yourself as servant of God. Just like false ego means to rebel against God. And real ego means to accept yourself as servant of God. Okay. I want to tell you devotees, like these days, these weight talks to it, Manoga Rupha. So I really don't want you devotees to spend too much money on these weight talks. Now the good old days of communism are over. So I'd be happy if you devotees only give me 1 garland a day and not 2 garlands a day. Fata mustas to chas to it manogar hoga. Okay, pass me Mahaprabhu. When the association of devotees is resulting in prajalpa, then it is not spiritual association. Then it becomes ritual association. When somebody is talking prajalpa, you should say, Prabhu, prajalpa, you see, it takes 2 to tangle, they say in English. If you want an entanglement, you need 2 people. So for doing prajalpa, you need 2 partners. One is a speaker and the other is a hearer. So when somebody comes into prajalpa and you say, Prabhu, I'm not interested, then I can guarantee you that other person is not going to talk to the walls. Nobody does prajalpa with walls. They only do prajalpa with human beings. And if somebody is crazy, he may do prajalpa with animals. Okay.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.